Vigo County Budget Committee is now in session. We are discussing the employees, full-time employees, and calculating what we spend annually for full-time employees. And it's pretty boring, but we're doing it anyway. So the auditor is now calculating the number of full-time employees we have.
So, look here.
Okay?
In some instances, let's take a longevity. This is 26 times that they're getting paid this stipend.
Okay.
So we'll just take one of these people here. If we were to take that number and multiply it times 26, they would technically they
Okay.
would come out worse off.
Worse.
Some people would, yes. So probably what you'd have
Yeah,
to do
I
is
see
look,
what you're saying.
you'd probably have to look to see what the largest stipend is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're doing.
But this may be,
Here's one at 643. 643 times 26. Holy cow.
Whoa, that's a big one.
Times 26, yeah. So we may not be able to approach that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, this is not an accurate way to do it, actually.
Wow.
Unless we disregard longevity, we disregard,
I don't want to really disregard longevity, do you?
no, I'm not saying disregard it as in
Oh.
do away. I'm saying.
He's talking about,
Oh,
I'm
for
saying- I see.
calculating
Okay.
And
purposes.
yeah, disregard as in
Oh,
we're not
yeah.
gonna, we don't touch that.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Right, yeah, okay.
So if you did away with longevity, all right. This is gonna be a tough question. It'll take you, may take you some time. What stipends are there that are not longevity related, not clothing allowance related, not cell phone related? We're looking for special purpose stipends that are kind of one-offs.
Sheriff's Department.
Okay, what do you have there? Oh, okay. So many of theirs look like their clothing allowance.
Yeah,
Group
phones.
homes would be one of them.
Yep. Sheriff's Department has, with their an instructor, what their grade is. It's on, third page from the back.
I see something called a high-tech crime unit also. I don't know what that is.
That is actually a grant.
That's Grant, okay. You said the third page from the back?
And also the back of the one before it.
See, it says jail building security, and then down after that is.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need these to be, have them break this out for us with those special
Mm.
things and then work on it with?
Did you see $750, is that times a year, is that the highest you've seen on that one?
Well, no, because there's some that are 26 times a year that are like a $16,000 stipend. But for specific purposes, longevity, right? So some of the longevities are up there.
Don't you think there's gotta be a better way to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, let's figure it out. I mean, longevity needs to be sorted out. Sure,
Yeah, I mean, I think,
and set aside.
right, set aside, along with clothing allowances set
And
aside.
clothing allowance.
Cell phone allowance,
Cell.
within reason, probably set aside.
Mhm. And that will winnow the thing down to a much,
So that's what I was trying to do here, is just, I'm crossing them out.
well, how about if we just have the auditor's office go through and pair those things out for us? And then at the next
Okay, all
budget
right.
meeting, we'll have a list that's clean,
Okay.
okay? Because they are the genii of the outfit. That's plural for genius. Is that doable for you folks? Can you go through this list and sort out the obvious things that, like clothing allowance, cell phones, and so forth, that,
I think if you look at it, you know, the first page, it says clothing allowance, well, you're not looking at that. And then the high-tech crime, that's a grant. Your prosecutor is specialized, you know, that's something to look at there. I mean, because it tells you in there, she's got them grouped, the payroll has them grouped by what stipends they are. Your level 2, level 3, that's something that's given to the assessors in both offices for obtaining their level 2 and level 3. And then all these others say longevity, you're not looking at that. Retention stipend is,
All right. So here, there's this one.
okay.
There's that one. All right, then you have high felony. All right, how about we'll go through these one at a time and you can help explain them. So the first page I tore off, we understand that one.
okay,
I'm now on the second page, the front side. I think we understand all that. Second page, back side. High felony. This is for high-tech crime stipend.
no, it's prosecutor, look underneath.
Oh, look underneath, okay. Prosecutor, all right.
That's a scale that, if
All
I'm
right.
not mistaken, I think they came up with for the level of the crime that they get
Okay.
specialized pay.
Then you have Title D stipend. Then you have the group home stipend. Then you have the reassessment stipend.
Yep, pays for their level, if they have obtained level 2 or level 3.
Okay. Longevity, we understand that one. All right, so far that's that. Longevity on the next page, self-explanatory, same thing again. Tossing that page. Longevity again. Longevity again. Longevity again. And the backside, same thing. Same thing.
You get to dispatcher.
Then you're gonna run into your phone stipend list.
Okay, so longevity, still longevity though, okay. So, tossing that.
Just
Longevity.
down to sheriff there with dispatcher.
Okay. Retention stipend. Sorry, that was me.
That is something that they did for the jailers in order to try to keep them. They have to work consecutively and be here for like 6 months before they get.
Before they earn it?
Yeah, before they earn it, because they were having such a hard time of getting jailers. So that's something a few years ago that they implemented.
Okay.
Building security also gets it too, Devin informed me.
Also gets what?
The retention stipend.
Okay.
Then after the jail
That's
and building
paid
security, you
twice.
get to the sheriff's department with
So
their
the-
stipends.
So that's paid twice, but not until after they've been here 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Evening shift, instructors, okay. Now I'm at a place where it says city court. Second to the back page, I think. Or maybe it's,
And second to back page.
These are ones I get confused.
I'm not certain on those, but those might be the ones that go to city court.
and is that done? I don't,
We're gonna have to, Autumn's watching, so Autumn can get us an answer on that.
okay, so probably.
Taylor Trinkle, she's a grant. Bill Watson, he gets a minimal amount for the
What's the deal on this one?
pretrial grant.
So far, I've narrowed it down to that.
It'd come up.
That's the only one I can find that really stands out.
The 4D?
No,
Mm-mm.
this one is the
Oh,
only one
the
that
top one.
Yeah.
There's two. So that's the
Two.
only one I have found that stands out that's different and separate from everything else.
Title 4D stipend.
No, group homes. So it's below it, it's
Oh,
below it.
Oh, I thought you were saying this one.
Those are the ones that you approved this
Right,
year.
no, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
I'm aware of that. And then we just recently approved it again. Here, can we just talk openly? Can I just say what I would like to see?
Well, say whatever you want to say.
All right. The goal here is to look at doing away with the stipends that are not necessary and instead applying a flat raise potentially across the board to all county employees. Not there yet. We're getting there. But the thought process would be, rather than to do it by a percentage, every county employee would get the exact same raise so that somebody who is at a lower grade is actually getting a larger percentage to help them with their cost of living, and a person who is at a higher grade, although it's a lower percentage, it's the same raise to help offset so that everybody, because right now we have some level 5s that are not making enough money to live. And so, and even with a raise, I don't know that that's gonna help, but it's to look at that and see that there are people who are making that much less, we thought perhaps by doing a flat raise, and of course, we've been talking about doing no raises, right? So we thought about applying a flat raise across the board to all countywide employees, with the exception of elected officials. And that would help, hopefully, some of those lower grades that are not making enough money, but it also helps the higher grades because they'd be getting a raise where before we were talking about not doing a raise.
And Judy,
Roll that by again, say that again.
All right, so if we were to do away with stipends, with the one-offs, which I was only able to find one. Now, I could be wrong. We'll ask the auditor's office to see if they can show us more. But not touching longevity, not touching clothing allowances, things that are something where it applies equally to everybody. The thought was, instead of doing stipends, we create a raise, and instead of doing it by a percentage, it is a flat number and impacts everybody the same. So my raise, because I'm a $100,000 employee, isn't, who doesn't need the raise as much as the person who is making $35,000 a year. It helps that $35,000 employee a whole lot more and gets us to where we are a little bit closer percentage-wise in payroll, so that there's not so much of a distance between these.
Not to be disrespectful or anything at all, but have you thought that the grades that were graded by Baker Tilly, that those positions are not as task-oriented
Sure.
as what the higher ones are?
Right.
Judy makes a valid point. I mean, that we have to be sensitive to that because that affects our entire,
It also gets to the point where,
it negates,
like it did
negates our
last
grades.
year, we had some employees that would have been making similar to what elected officials in certain cases.
That's correct. That is exactly right.
So it would be less likely in this scenario to have that than if you did it by a percentage, because if you did it by a percentage, the higher paid employees would be getting a higher amount of money, and they would become closer to, they would get closer to an elected official.
But that's because you're not giving the elected official a raise.
But also, I'm going to say this, this is no offense to you or any other elected official. Why are we so opposed to a good employee making more than us?
Well,
I'm not saying, I know you're not. I didn't mean to suggest that you were concerned. I know you're looking out for everybody. So you're looking out for all elected officials.
Absolutely.
And it might be discouraging for people to run if they know that they could.
no, not just that, it's just,
Everybody
it's
got
about
hit
being
by
fair.
inflation.
It's about being fair.
Right.
It's right.
And you're right, I do care about what people make.
Yeah.
And I do too, Larry. I think you gotta be considerate of everybody.
I'm not, keep me out of the loop here, but,
Yeah.
or out of the equation, should I say. But, yeah, that's a difficult,
Just trying to come up with ideas on how to help people financially without hurting the county too much in the process.
I think that if you eliminated 4s and 5s, is that right? 4s and 5s, am I saying that right? Just 4s?
And which we did.
Of course, yeah.
There are no more 4s.
Okay, but at 5, where we at?
5 is, I think it was around 35,000 maybe, I can't remember.
Fives are 36,579. Oh, no, 38,956. 38,956 is what a grade 5 is.
So call it 39.
And so you're saying that eliminating all stipends?
No.
No?
No. We were looking to see what stipends there are that stick out, that seem to be just like a one-off. So, but the truth is, and looking at this list, I only found one, and that was group homes. So it's not gonna have the impact that I thought. I honestly thought there were more stipends out there, and that this could have a larger impact on the county financially and go to a raise instead.
I agree with you, Larry. I think that, everybody's impacted by inflation. I mean, we live at the level that we live, and it affects across the board.
Okay,
And-
Judy, when we give this raise at the beginning with Baker Tilly, was everything brought up to the cost of living from where we studied it?
Yes.
No.
No. No?
That's
No.
what I was.
I thought it was
raised.
last year.
No. Kevin, that's why I told you guys, to reach out to Kevin Gardner, because he keeps an up-to-date record. And I know he had said before that we were at least 2 behind.
We're 2 raises behind, correct?
Yeah.
I believe, it might be more, I don't know, when Kevin spoke at one of the meetings, I remember that.
Yeah,
So he could speak on it more, that's why I suggested at the last budget meeting that maybe you
right.
get the info from him.
There's 693 full-time employees. Yes.
If Kevin's here, he'd probably come over and.
I'm texting him right now.
That's that number.
We have it. I think when we try to, don't give a raise to these people and don't give a raise to those people, I mean, it gets winky-dink and it's unfair to people. Either be fair and give a raise or don't give a raise. I mean, that's the way I feel. It affects you, it affects Larry, it affects Brad, and it's not fair.
So are you suggesting if we're giving a raise, we give it even to elected officials?
Well, they,
A cost of living raise
it's a cost of living raise. Who do you,
It's the same thing we ran into last year. Kevin's on his way, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think you have to be fair.
Well, if you don't, what you're doing is, you got people that are up here, you have people that are down here. There again, your middle-class people are getting hosed if you do it that way, in my opinion, but I'm nobody.
Well, you're not nobody, but I mean, you've got to decide how are you gonna do it? I mean, we could lower the upper class too, and, I mean, you have to do, if you're giving across the board, you give it across the board, period.
All right, so I am going to, if
Well,
there are any raises, I'm going to request that they are done separately this year, elected officials versus employees. Because last year, I was forced to vote in favor of elected officials because it was all grouped together, and I do not want to be put in that position again. So,
Kevin's here.
okay, so I'm asking if we are doing that, I would like for them to be separate to vote on. I'm not voting for us to have a raise.
So what is you're not voting for elected officials,
I will not vote for
To get
elected
a
officials
raise.
to get a raise. I think we're all,
not even a cost of living?
no, I will not personally, no.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean you don't have 4 votes on here. you probably still have 4 votes on the council. I'm just not going to be one of those votes. Would I vote for people that are working at this full time and coming to work every day to have a raise? That I could be convinced of. But,
How do you separate that?
well, I mean, for starters, most of us elected officials have the ability to not be here all the time, and we have other incomes. With an employee, their 35 hours a week is generally working for the county, and sometimes more than 35 hours a week. So, in my mind, we all volunteered to run for office. We accepted it to run for that office at the rate that was advertised. I'm not going to vote to give us a raise. But if they want to, you've got 2 other people here that can, and then if it goes to the council, you've got 4 people, I'm sure, that would do the same. Again, I just don't want to be put in a position where I'm voting to give myself a raise, or quite frankly, there are some salaries in our county that are pretty high, and giving them whatever the percentage of raise is I'm just going to say it's disgusting, the amount that some people would get if they got the same percentage of raise. And I'm not convinced that some people are doing that much extra work. I think we put titles and we assume that some people are better than the rest of everybody else, and we want to pay them these high rates. I don't believe it. So that's where I stand.
Would we want to have Kevin come up and give us some numbers?
Yes.
Kevin Gardner, our
I-
illustrious, our illustrious. No, but-
You unprepared is generally more effective and more impactful than those of us that have prepared.
We're talking about our numbers that we have in our treasury and our, if we give raises, if we don't give raises and so forth, and, the looming possibilities that we're facing and so forth.
They asked if we were currently up to the study, and I told them that you would know better than anyone, because you keep pretty good eye on that. And yes, and I believe that we were at least 2 raises behind from last time that you had spoke before them, so you would be the most knowledgeable.
When you did the last,
Is that on, Kevin? I'm sorry.
Yep, it's on.
Okay.
when you did the last raises last year and took everyone to, they were calling it the midpoint plus 3. Actually, it was the midpoint minus 3. Because you were still short 1 cost of living raise. So, let's say you stay with that. If you don't do a cost of living raise this year, then you will be behind at least 6% based off of where the study got you. So if that's what you were wanting to know. So I guess ultimately it just comes to where do you want the people at? I mean, you guys worked very hard to get them to the place they're at. So if you were trying to get them to equal to some type of market, which is what the Baker Tilly study gave you, then every time you don't give a cost of living, you're getting farther away from that number. If that makes sense. And Steve, as to what you were saying, I agree and disagree. I agree with you 100% that we have many positions that are overpaid. I mean, just to be blunt. Whether it's elected official or staff, we've got positions that are overpaid. We've got positions that are drastically underpaid. And I have pushed for this for, I know, 3 years now, of there being some sort of committee that analyzes every department to see where it should be. We've got enough intelligence in this building, people know what people do, that you can have a committee that can say, yes, this office is overstaffed, yes, this office is understaffed. Or, yes, this person equal to these other offices is at a good pay, or they're at too high or too low of a pay. That's never happened. Again, I still think it needs to happen, and I think until it does, you're always gonna be shooting in the dark. But my only problem with not doing a raise to elected officials by themselves, because we're similar to a department head, other than we have to run for an election, they get appointed. You give them the raise, you don't give it to the elected official that's running their department. So basically, you said they're worth less than the department head. Yes, as elected officials, we don't follow the same guidelines, we don't have to be here every day. There are a lot of us that are. I know there's a lot of us that aren't. But at some point, if you keep raising the staff and the other workers, at some point, there's no incentive to be an elected official. You run your own business, Steve, just like I used to. You would not pay your staff more than you make. On paper, you might.
I was gonna say, I'll open my books up to you.
But
I
Zynga,
know how the books work, I have business too, but in reality, you're not gonna run a business to where you're paying the people what they want. It just wouldn't make any sense.
Now, again, I thought this thing was on because I talk so loud anyway. But again, I do agree, there needs to be, we don't need to pay for any more studies, but there needs to be a study by office, by department, to determine where it should be. Staffing and pay. I don't know that it ever happened, but it needs to happen. And it can be done in-house with volunteers where we're not paying another dime for a study.
So I think one thing that, and I'm sure it's part of it's covered by state statute, but if it's legal, I think just like the prosecutor has the ability to decide if they want to be full-time or part-time and choose between which salary they want, I think other elected positions should have that same ability, so that if you want to be a part-time assessor versus a full-time assessor, or full-time versus part-time auditor, then you're starting to get the salaries more appropriate to the position that we're going for. We are considered part-time, so we make less.
If I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's say you do have that part-time auditor position.
Mm-hmm.
So that auditor moves on. Next one comes in, he's a full-time. How do you assess that?
The
It
same way,
goes up.
same way as you do with the prosecutor's office. It's,
You have two different pay grades?
no, not pay grades.
Well, pay-
It's two
pay and
different
amounts.
pay amounts, just the way the prosecutor is. So you get to elect at the beginning if you would like to be full-time or part-time. And then once you make that election, your pay will be based on that, and the number of hours that you put in will be based on that as well. So that it gives us the ability to say, hey, I want to be a part-time or a full-time elected official.
and I'd like to just say, I think that's a crock of baloney, because when you elect somebody to do a job, they ought to show up and do the job.
And then you're running into this, Steve, so if you have a part-time, say Kevin becomes a part-time assessor, who takes up that slack in the amount of work that he does? He does an awful lot of work there.
I
You
don't
better believe
disagree,
it.
but but
That's a law. It is a law.
But we do have instances where that takes place. And so
For sure.
when you hear me say, I'm not for giving, and then you've got some elected officials that their salary is, in my opinion, it is beyond gross at this point. And so to give a percentage of raise versus a flat raise, for starters, to me, is getting the gap even further and further apart to where, you know, if I'm making 100,000 a year and I get a 5% increase, that's $5,000. But if I'm a $35,000 a year person or $40,000 a year person, that's $1,000. So we're growing that gap even more and more and more to where it's truly not fair, and some employees can't afford to live.
Let me just say, Kevin mentioned that it'd be a good idea to have a panel to look at the salaries. As a matter of fact, Brad will remember this, some years back, we did have a group got together and they selected folks from the
Personnel committee.
council, and so forth, and they got it all together, and that's how it got so jacked up, and that's how the commissioner's salaries got so high and so forth. And, it doesn't mean it's gonna get better, it could get worse.
I actually believe that in the handbook, it says that the commissioners do have a 3-person panel or committee. I don't think it exists, but the handbook does say there is one. I just think it needs to be expanded to where it's not just 2 or 3 people, it needs to be somewhere around 7 or 9.
Yep.
And it needs to be different people throughout the building that are as part of that. And Steve, I do agree with you on the straight percentage, because you are correct. I mean, by doing that percentage, it does create a larger and larger gap.
Yep.
So I don't know how you fix that is with some sort of a step down percentage or something.
If you just if you're going to do it, first off, we have said since we started this that we weren't going to do raises this year, and now we're entertaining the idea. And so whatever raise anyone gets is a raise that we weren't getting 2 months ago when we started this conversation. So my thought was, if you pick a flat number, whatever that number is, you pick a flat number and you apply it to every county employee, now the person who's making $38,000 or $39,000 a year is going to feel that impact on their lives a whole lot more than the person that's making $100,000 a year. And the person who's making $100,000 a year, that raise isn't going to impact their lifestyle the way it will someone who's making. Now, in a non-governmental position, I'm for supply and demand. You do what you can, let the market dictate what's going to happen. But with tax dollars, I believe that we should be as fair as possible to our employees.
I agree. And I also wanted to say, I'm not promoting for a raise for elected officials.
I know. I
I'm
get
just
that.
promoting, trying to do some type of fairness. You can't treat one different than another.
Sure.
But absolutely, I agree with the percentage. I mean, because the gap will just continue to get bigger and bigger and
Right.
bigger.
And I agree with you.
Oh, thanks. Anyway, this is probably something that we can continue the conversation on again as we get more research in. But, or if you're ready to do something, you can do something.
No, we'll wait.
Let's wait, okay. All right. Well, that was next meeting.
I think we should, ask around the building about it too, but I think that, elected officials, they're not living on the high side. Most of them are not, and that's for sure.
I'm just gonna say this openly. I think we should worry more about our employees than we should those that have.
By the same token, that's how elected officials, their salaries fall behind the upper pay.
That's gonna be up to you
too.
guys, but I
Well,
would,
and
and
we
I'm not
know
being noble
that.
here, I'm just saying,
But I'll tell you what, Larry, we have some money, and we shouldn't let people get behind, and the salaries fall behind, because in the past it has. And, Brad knows that's true, I think we need to keep up when we can. And otherwise, we fall in the, and you're not gonna get rich, that's for dang sure, if you're gonna be working for Vigo County government. Nobody, well, some people get rich, but that didn't happen on my watch. Anyhow.
So If you're going to do elected officials, and you did the exact same amount that you did, look, there's not that many elected officials anyway, so it's not like it's a big impact on the county.
Not a big deal.
So, but if you were going to do the elected officials, and you did it at the exact same number that you did the employees, the only thing I ask is that we separate it. It's not that I don't want to see the elected officials get it, it's that I have made a commitment to the public, I will not vote for a raise that I am included in. And so I just won't do that.
So moving along.
Okay.
Okay. What we got next, you guys? What do you want to talk about?
What's the auditor's office have next?
You don't have it in front of you yet, but I do have two funds that we still needed to approve. It is 1217, which is the co-elected official training with the auditor's office, and then Fund 1237, which is the opioid fund, because we did advertise 250 out of that and county general. So this is just so that you guys can either give it a favorable or unfavorable recommendation.
Also, while we're waiting for you to bring that up here, I spoke to Travis Norris, and he did indicate that he probably just as soon keep the budget as he had it proposed, and that he may want to make changes going forward in the future. But if that happens, he'll come back to us.
Changes.
So if you recall, we tabled it when it was put up on the screen. He didn't have any changes. And we tabled it because he and I had had a conversation and he was gone, yeah.
Looks like you're gonna have to, you did the 2s, 3s, and 4s, looks like it's gonna be the ones that need to be voted on for the coroner.
Correct, I'm sorry, yes, thank you. What are we looking at here again? I'm sorry.
This is a county elected officials training. Oh, yes. And this is a fund that we take in fees that go into this fund. And that is where the county elected officials can use when they go to conferences. Instead of hitting county general all the time, there's 25,000 that we take out of here for there's only certain elected officials that can use it,
That's this one.
certain
Okay.
offices.
Is this the whole fund, what's got in it right now? The 20, or is that what you're putting in yet?
That's what we put in to be appropriated to be spent before you, yeah.
Which elected officials have access to that?
Surveyor, auditor, treasurer, recorder,
Okay.
clerk,
Assessor.
the assessor.
All right, make a motion to
Motion
approve.
approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, the next one that we're looking at here?
Opioid funding, that's where we went ahead and advertised Judge Reddy's 250,000, advertised it out of county general court's budget, and also advertised it in the opioid.
Okay, so,
And then you guys left it up to the
Yes.
commissioners to decide what they wanted to do, but if it's not advertised, you can't do it, so
Okay.
that's why they advertised it.
so I think what we want to do is advertise that up opioid only, and then the commissioners get to make that decision?
If you, okay, it's been advertised in both, we're done
Oh,
with
oh,
that.
oh,
It's
okay,
been
you're done with
advertised
that,
in
okay.
both. So the decision will be made, where do you want to pay it from? And then the full council can decide what
Okay, in the last budget meeting, I thought we had said we were going to let the commissioners make the decision on where to apply opioid funds.
Right, but we have to advertise it. If they say no, they don't want to pay for Judge Reddy out of here, then we wouldn't be able to do it out of county general. She would have to come sometime in '27 and ask for that. So that's why it was advertised in both, because that's what was requested. So what we'll do now is what you have said the changes, we will go back through now and like everything that was supposed to be a lit public safety and it was advertised in the sheriff's budget and lit public safety, we will take out the sheriff's budget to reflect what you three have done. But at any point, if the full council wants to say, no, we would rather it come out of county general, we can move it back. If we hadn't advertised it out of both, we would be locked into one fund. So what's gonna get printed next is going to be upon your recommendations.
I make a motion to take it out of here, done.
Is that what you're looking for a motion for, is to take it out of opioid? Is that what you're looking for us to say?
Make a decision to take it out of the general or the other.
Yes, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
You guys can do your recommendation.
And that's all they need, just a
All right, so,
recommendation.
yes.
Would I be able to,
Sure, hit it.
this is Charles Johnson, Judge, Vigo County, Superior Court Division 1, also Chief Judge. Since you are discussing opioid funds, I'm not here specifically just concerning Judge Reddy's program, but I was hoping maybe we could reopen discussion as far as the rise and the case manager position for mental health treatment court. I believe at the last budget meeting that was recommended to not go into general as our request. And I just had some additional information I thought might be appropriate if you would allow me some time and maybe reconsider opening that up and possibly making that recommendation. Is the budget committee okay with that, I guess, for to start off with?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. As the committee is aware, we did add those 3 positions that were being paid for by opioid only, and we requested this year that they be placed into our general budget and then they be reimbursed with the opioid funds. Currently, we are working on a memorandum of understanding with the city as well as the county to get an understanding of what that actual amount will be reimbursed towards those positions as far as our request in general. With the city, I did have a chance to talk with Mike Wright this morning, and they are still moving forward with that. It's my understanding after talking with Mayor Sackbun at the last meeting that the city is recommending $100,000 each year for the next 3 years that would go towards helping fund these 3 positions. That would cover roughly 34% of the request that was added into the general fund. The remaining balance that the county would be on the hook for would then be $174,493.97, which is roughly about 64% of the request. And that would just be if it was out general without any additional opioid. We are still working with the commissioners as far as getting the opioid funds, hopefully pay for the rest of that as well. That's still in process. We don't necessarily have a number one way or the other, but it's my understanding they still are supportive of this, just not, we haven't quite gotten to where we need on the number. I know the Budget Committee also, at the last meeting, was able to recommend the new public defender's position, and some of the discussion was concerning reimbursement. If only the city in part goes in, it'd be roughly about 34% of the, 36%, which is almost the same amount of reimbursement that the public defender's office position is getting from the state. So it'd be about the same reimbursement one way or the other on both those positions. Additionally, the courts have been in support of the public defenders, and I'm not saying this in any way that they shouldn't get that position or anything like that. I'm just saying that the courts have also taken on some additional responsibilities with that grant that the public defender's office has taken. I think you guys are all aware the city court cases now are all filed in Division 5. Right now, last year, Division 5 had a utilization number, which is roughly what the state thinks that the court should have as far as caseload, and the perfect number is 1. Right now, Division 5 is at 1.32. Last year, before they took the misdemeanors on, they were only at 1.09. So that's jumped up 0.23, so almost roughly a fourth of a court additional that they're taking on, which is recommended from the state. Overall, Vigo County still is number 3 in the severity of need for the state of Indiana as well. If in a perfect world, what we would have would be 2 additional judicial officers that would be able to to be able to act to work where the state wants us technically to be working at, which would be at a 1. Obviously, if that was to happen, there'd be more additional costs, and we're not asking for any of that at this time. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of where the courts are as far as that. With the RISE and the case managers for mental health treatment court, specifically the RISE individuals, they help facilitate the grants to the public defender's office as well. Part of their duties now are filling out petitions for appointment of counsel, which are required for the grant for the public defender's office. With the high caseload in Division 5, that's something they take care of as well. So they come in, fill out the paperwork so that the defendant's information is properly filed and then sent forward for the grant, so we consider to stay in compliance with the requirements for the grant as well. Overall, their duties to also help keep the individuals out of jail. I know we've got an ongoing jail overcrowding problem, and unfortunately, with the uncertainty with where we are with community corrections and the possibility of losing a probation officer as well, that'll likely raise the jail count numbers due to the loss of alternatives to just incarceration. With all that said, I just wanted to request that the court reconsider the request of the general fund. I do think we have the reimbursement, which at a minimum for the next 3 years with the city, it would be $100,000. And that's the memorandum of understanding is being worked on right now between Dave Frederick and Michael Wright to get that taken care of. The county number I know is still up in the air, and I'm sure the budget committee would prefer a more exact number as far as that. But even then, like I said, if it was just the city, it'd still be a 36% reimbursement, which would be comparable, which was with the public defender's office position is receiving as well. I'm welcome to answer any questions, and I just request that that might be reconsidered.
Can I ask you, you think the city's going to be able to swing that?
That's my understanding from Mayor Sackbun, is that he felt committed that 3 years at $100,000, he'd still be in a good position.
You'd be out picking up aluminum cans this weekend, I bet you.
Would that just be the opioid funds from the city that be used or paid for?
I've got a couple things on this too, if you don't mind. So I think one of the challenges we had here was with with Gretchen's program, she didn't just finance the 37% through the state. She actually did away with a whole nother piece of her budget to offset it. So she fully funded that new position. We're not funding any of it.
Okay.
The second thing is we're in a bad position because there are several departments here that have some asked for new positions. Some wanted to ask for new positions but chose not to because we had said up front that we weren't going to create or pick up positions. And so it's hard for us to say we're going to treat this department different than this one. Gretchen was an exception because she literally found a way to fully fund her position. And then, of course, the sheriffs, because of the situation over with West Terre Haute, they lost their police agency or turned it into a town marshal. Now, having said that, we did try to come up with a solution so that the judges potentially still get what they need by turning over the opioid fund to the commissioners. So now you can still get the portion that you're asking funded, you could still get it funded. It would just be through the commissioners, through the opioid fund versus through us and the general. That way, I think they're pretty passionate about the same thing that you're passionate about, and my guess is they'll probably want to hear exactly what you just said, especially with the city offsetting the 37% or whatever it was, $100,000 a year. So that, to me, that was our way of saying, hey, let's find a way that they can still move forward with these programs by turning over the opioid fund. And so literally, we're not going to have much say on that anymore. That's going to be the commissioners that are going to be able to say, yes, we think this is a good program, let's move forward.
I understand, and I appreciate that. I guess one point would just be that the hope would be to be these three positions would be 100% funded too. So it wouldn't just be the city, but then the county is hopefully would then cover the remaining balance. That would be, so each of these three positions would be entirely covered with reimbursement for the opioid fund. So, and I guess I also would point out too, these aren't necessarily new positions. One has been the case manager was created last year, so that's the funding for an additional. And the RISE case managers were from a grant from 2 years ago. They were cut down due to the loss of those funds in the opioids, so there went from 3 to 2, but they also have been in place for 2 years as well. I guess just the request too would be why we're running on the general is just that it gives us some stability as far as the program. We're aware that it's going to go. I know that's puts the county as the backstop on these, but we do believe that with the opioid funds, we'll be able to get these funded and at least continue moving forward to get them taken care of. The hope would be, obviously the request will be if the budget, if it's not approved, we will go and request that the opioids funds be paid through the commissioner's office as we did last year, but it would still be my understanding that the council would have to vote on that as well, like last year, where even though the committee does, the commissioners do make that recommendation, we did have to come in front of the council to make that request to get those funded.
I mean, my humble opinion is, I'm good either way, but if we are going to do that, I think you have to open up to the entire county to start over and let them also come back and ask for their new positions. We cannot treat different departments differently. And I with all due respect, I absolutely want to help you. And I thought we found a solution to help the judges. But if,
I think that's the intention, is to run it through the commissioners.
Was to run it
And
through the
that was-
commissioners.
That was the salvation of it.
we thought we were helping you in doing that. If we are going to do this, my humble opinion is we don't treat one department different than another department. We start over and we treat them all the same. So-
Check that out with Gretchen and be sure that's what the intention is, so that we'll be sure we're doing right on this.
But I'm happy to follow up with the commissioners, and if, I know you'd already voted on this, so this was just my opportunity to try
Sure.
and give some additional
Absolutely.
information. So if that is what it is, we respect that and we'll continue to move forward.
I'll
But-
fit with you too, if this doesn't work out.
Well, I appreciate that. But so I guess then with that, so I will speak with the commissioners and we'll hopefully be able to
Okay.
get that worked out as well. But
Okay,
All right.
well,
thank you all.
We're still sitting if you have to come back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
All right, so
Okay, so
we were
let's-
talking about the 254 ready. So,
Okay, I think I have did you make a motion?
Yeah, to take it out of the order.
to take, okay, so
Okay.
there's a motion to take it out opioid, I'll
Yeah,
second that.
second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved, and moving along. What we got next? What time we have to
The
go?
coroner's salaries.
3, we got about 50 minutes. The corners, level 1 or grade 1, we call them level ones.
The 1 series.
So, is that up on screen by chance?
I don't think Judge was too satisfied.
What's that? Yeah, there's money in opioid, and they've got more coming in, so.
I think they're gonna go for that, I mean.
We got $27,000 the first of this month. That's the only payment that we've gotten from the opioid settlement. But they're, they have the not undistributed, the non-restricted, the non-restricted has over 200,000 that's not been touched. So,
How much?
over 200,000.
Ca- Can you explain the restricted versus non-restricted and how much is in each one and what you could use each one for? If you know that answer, sorry.
The non-restricted has a more broad description, as where the restricted account can only be used for certain things, such as things that relate to preventative causes for people on opioid, substance abuse, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So I guess I was under the impression that it could all only be used for things that involved opioid addiction to some degree.
The non is, there's more of a broad, and I have sent that to you before. It's been a while,
Yeah.
but I can find that and send that to you again.
And how much is in each of those accounts? Ballpark?
There, I actually did a spreadsheet for you.
Sorry.
If I can find it.
Was it sent through email? I can search my email.
A long time ago. But I went through and printed them all out, so we'd have.
Are these just the lit ones that you did?
Opioid funding.
What did you do with the lit special purpose?
We're still searching. I believe when I did it, it would be if all the appropriations were used.
I know the
Here it is.
one,
Here it is.
the one was gonna have like 200 and some at the end of the year, but the other, I'm not
Yes.
familiar with.
If all the appropriations are used that were appropriated in 2026, there would, and no additional income came in, there would
Right.
be roughly 243,000 left in that fund.
Okay.
And then I do know that there's like, oh, here it is right here. There's $218,712 in the non-restricted,
All right, so they've got roughly 400,000 right there to play with,
and possibly more.
and possibly more.
If we're getting
Okay.
another payment. Like I said, I know 27,000, I think, 27,000 came in earlier this
Sure.
month.
All right. What's next on our agenda? Oh, the corner, yeah. And is that on our screen or not on our screen?
Yes.
It is, okay. And there were no major changes here, correct?
For what you said now.
I'll make a motion to accept as it sets.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Budget is approved.
We didn't do anything with the lit funds. I don't know if you guys took your homework home and looked at them, about what was paid out of them, what the balances would be at the end of '26, all that was handed out to you.
Do we still have a handful of ones that we need to still approve as well?
I think it's just the lit funds, I believe.
That's it? Not that one, I don't. I got tied up at FedEx.
not?
I got tied up at trying to find FedEx a while ago and had to bring the wrong vehicle here.
Steve, I don't believe that we didn't do a favorable or unfavorable recommendation for any of the departments that had a grade change. Because you guys were talking about the policy that you want to put in place, or,
I still don't have a good recommendation yet. Do either of you? Okay, we may still have to pause on that for just a little bit longer on. I know, I'm sorry. Will you review those real quick, which ones they were?
I have the auditor's office, because there was a grade change in a stipend request.
Okay,
I have the clerk for a grade change. We were gonna, yes. We were gonna come back to the community corrections, because they have benefits paid out of there. The coroner. Okay.
The coroner we just did.
We just did the coroner then. It was just reflected. The surveyor, he did a new job description with a title change, with a grade change.
Yeah, we did that.
I think we were gonna look into the treasurers as well.
I don't recall that one. What was that?
I think that was just on our end, we needed to take a look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was because it was looking funky up there.
That's why we needed to figure it out. Morgan, can you pull up the treasurers and county general for a second? I'll just have her pull the treasurer for a second so you can see.
If you remember right, there was some stuff that looked funky up there the other day. So
Oh,
we were going
yeah.
back, but
There
we
were several of
approved-
these that just didn't match.
But we approved that on 8/19. The treasurer. So you can take that off. Yeah. I'm going back through real quick just to make sure. There's a lot of stuff Devin and I.
So,
looked
yeah,
at.
any of those that didn't match before that do match now, we can probably run those through right quick.
That's what I'm looking real quick here. Mhm. Yes. Oh.
So with, what we don't have on here is the, last time you showed us what it was last year. Do we need to see that along with it? So it went from 423 to, it went down. Is that? You can stand closer. So should this have gone down, and are we concerned about that?
No, it's fine. The reason why we didn't, approve it yet is because there's a position in there. Oh, that's area planning, isn't it? Oh, no, nope, it's fine. We've already approved it.
Okay. So their ones are going down by $4,000 roughly, or $3,000 and change. We're okay with that? Okay,
But it's still accounted for.
okay. As long as you guys are comfortable with it, I'll make a motion to approve. Oh, I thought that's why this was up here, was to
No, 819, we went back, Devin and I had gotten your answers, and we,
copy that. So are there others that fell into this category that we've not approved? Because I felt like,
That's what you're
okay,
getting.
all right.
we need to look at highway, 1176.
That's a big one, isn't it?
Here. We had to go back and look at highway, and this is good.
What's that?
It's not approved, but
How's it look to you?
the highway's ready to go
Yeah.
for the salaries for the ones. We went back, we saw stuff Steve was pointing out, we just wanted to be sure.
Let's take a look. 15, 4, 7. Carrying 1,000 maintenance. Oh. 1,000 fields, cost, purchase. Looks pretty decent.
And if you notice, it'll be location 532, 531, and 530, they all, each have payroll in each of
Mhm.
those.
And they're all down a little bit. Is that cool?
That's what we went back and looked.
Okay.
That went down, the insurance went up.
Insurance always goes up, doesn't it?
Well, suit you.
I think so. Nancy, you have any questions? I'll make a motion to accept.
Second. Give me a second. All in favor, say aye.
Infraction deferral.
Aye.
The budget is approved.
The next one's infraction deferral that we went to look at. Morgan's getting ready to pull that up. $2501. And this one was correct?
It is correct, you say?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, their travel expenses went up. They going to Hawaii?
You already approved that one. You approved that on 8/13.
Well, then it must be okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The budget is approved.
The next one's gonna be Fund 1161. And this is where they raised the grade 4s to grade 5, 2 of them in there. Joni's Public Health, they had 4s in there,
Mm-hmm.
raised them to a 5.
Thank you for pointing that out. And somehow it's still less.
It's because we took those people to midpoint, so this fund also had stipends last year. So when you took everybody to midpoint, it got rid of the stipends, so that's why you're seeing a decrease.
Got it.
Okay. Motion to approve.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then I think we
Budget
had,
passes.
I think we had reassessment. $1224. And the reason why that looked all funky is because you have two departments that use that for payroll, and it wasn't all separated out.
Sick, a little bit high.
So we made sure that that was good.
So you've now turned it into two different departments?
Yeah, eight is the county assessor, and 13 is the Harrison assessor.
We also separated out the part-time salaries as well from the payroll salary, so you'll see a slight decrease in that line item, but it makes up for the part-time salaries.
Okay.
And why did that happen? Why did you do it this way?
So they'll know what they're spending out of their own
Out of their own-
location.
Okay.
It kind of helps them.
Is there also a location too?
There is, but not in salaries. We've already done the 2s, 3s, and 4s. This was just salaries.
Because they're doing their own digital claims now, it kind of helps them keep
Got it.
track
Okay,
of
got it.
how much part-time and overtime they have. That way
Got
they're
it.
not calling the auditor's office. It kind of eliminates us as the middleman.
Okay, got it.
So the salary on the top line, along with the 08 payroll and the 13 part-time, $226, $326. Okay.
So this is just Harrison that uses reassessment for payroll, FICA, perf, group insurance. Those are your series ones for them.
So there was no, I guess on this one, there was no 26 number to compare to.
Because last year it was grouped together.
So that was in that 429,000 that we saw before.
Yes.
Copy that.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. Okay.
Yeah. but we went back to the 144 and those numbers are reflected correctly.
Okay.
All right.
So you have Harrison and then you have the assessors. The auditor also uses it, but not for series ones.
And then when those are combined, they all fit on that one page. Got it.
Because it's all the same fund.
Can you do the
Make a
account?
motion to approve.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
So I guess that just leaves all your grade changes and then any stipend requests.
And you didn't approve any of those, so they're still open.
Whatever you guys want. Okay. Okay. All right.
We're gonna leave that for later. Ladies, we're going to call it a day and leave that for later. If,
Let's make a list of what we still need to do.
Good
so we're all on
idea.
the same
I
Good
like that
idea,
idea.
Judy, that's great.
So we need to do the lit funds, and then with the paperwork that we gave, it gives you the estimated balance at the end of this year if no additional appropriations were made in those funds after 7/31. That's your estimated balance. Okay? And that's for all your lit funds, and I also did county general.
Okay.
So you need to look at those and see.
And refresh my memory, I thought the last time we met, we had decided anything that we could take out of lit, we were going to do that.
And we did that, but then again, Samantha, what is that 0.2%? Because like on lit correctional rehab is 0.2%. That's why I said you probably need to talk to council about some of those things, or
Okay.
not council, yeah, your counselor.
Different
Yes, the
council
other can
instead
spell
of council,
differently, yes.
yeah.
But you have everything at your fingertips for those of what is paid currently out of each of those funds. You know, like lit public safety, we eat into that every year, because that's where over 2 million of it goes back to county general to reimburse jailers.
I am looking
And
back.
that's where we paid the first tower payments in 26, where it came out of that also.
So we take more out of that than what
We were cutting into it, and if you look at it says a lit, and it's got listed out, I give you a little synopsis there about we are cutting into it, each year, because the sheriff's stuff comes out of there also, some of the sheriff's stuff.
Trying to remember if I spoke with Samantha or if I had emails or text messages with her, but she did address.
Did she send the whole?
And I thought,
I have it here.
you do have something there? Okay, what do you have?
She spoke with general counsel for State Board of Accounts. He said the 0.2%, as noted in the statute, cannot be used for anything not tied to a facility, whether correctional or rehabilitative. The CC lit funds have to be used for facility purposes. I told him it is for staff who perform dual diagnosis work, trying to get into a facility standard. However, he said that unless it is a specific facility, they cannot be used. Public safety lit funds can be used. Statute with this highlights attached.
So,
And then she prints it, she's got the ordinance on here. A county fiscal body may adopt an ordinance to impose a tax rate for correctional facilities
Send that to us.
and rehabilitations facilities in the county. And it gives the particulars of how that's done. I can forward that to you again if you'd like.
Yeah, send that to each of us if you would be kind enough.
Absolutely.
I don't have hardly any service in here. So if I'm understanding you correctly, the answer is no, we cannot use, we need to go through general, it sounds like, for that. But even at that,
I just sent that to you.
thank you. All right, so, community corrections.
Check with Stephen and see what he's thinking.
What's that?
I want to see if everybody. No, I think I got one in here, my phone was off. I turned it down. Takes about 100 years to get it back on. It's building.
Are you guys free Monday?
No, $25 an hour.
Well, your price went up, buddy, but you're worth it.
Nope, I'll be on the beach.
That's right.
Oh.
Well, see how she is, well, now that's not gonna work.
Have fun without me.
That's why we,
Yeah, that was it.
when do you leave, Judy? When do you leave? Thursday?
Thursday morning, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
tomorrow's your only other day. I can't do tomorrow. When do you get back, Judy?
Okay, we'll be after Labor Day then, and that's fine, I mean, this is the end of the year, or month.
After the first reading of the budget. After the first reading of the budget.
All right,
We
so,
actually had it scheduled for last week to go, and then my husband got the wrong dates, and he works at the airport, so it was all hands on deck, so he's been working 18 hours at the airport, so we switched it.
I need some education here. On first reading of the budget, is that where we just read the parts that we have done, or are we expected to have?
A lot of times what they'll do is your committee chairperson or someone on the committee can say, this is what our recommendation, and give the highlights of what you've done, like if you said no positions and, the grant positions are going away and we're not gonna fund them out of county general. We recommended a position for the sheriff's department, it's when you kind of tell the highlights.
Okay, so we're just
to
giving
the
some
others-
highlights.
To the others. And then they will have a copy, it's not gonna be a book, but it's gonna be a copy of everything that you suggested to be changed. So they'll get that.
Get that together.
And then they have time to mull that over and see what they like about it, what they don't like about it,
More like what they don't like about it.
or what, maybe an elected official or department head went to them and said, hey, this was taken out, we'd like to have it back in. And then they can make that recommendation to you to put it back in, or do a vote, or do a vote.
All right.
But you do a vote in October.
October, right.
October, and whatever is finalized that night, these girls have 10 days to get it in to Gateway. So that's why they're going to get a copy of what you recommended on the 1st, and highly suggested that they look over all that stuff.
Right.
So we're not in the boat we were last year.
And also, I'm going to be giving the elected officials, department heads, a copy of this so they can look at it as to discuss that with you if need be.
Okay. So the week of the 14th. So, again, let's go back just a little bit further. When do we have to have everything finalized by and have it in so that we can vote in October?
You have to
Everything's already into Gateway, just that Morgan, they'll have to go back in and change your recommendations.
Okay, so let
And
me,
then you'll get a copy of that.
when is our drop dead deadline for the October? Because we're wanting to vote on this in October. So when is do we have all the way up till the October meeting? We could still be making changes, if that is acceptable?
When we read it, that's when's the deadline.
We have to advertise. 2 weeks,
So that's what I'm asking. So we have to advertise 2 weeks prior, or,
yes.
I don't know if I have to re-advertise the budget though, because it's already advertised now. It's
Right,
your,
that's correct.
your series ones was inflated by 5%. Your 2s, 3s, and 4s was inflated by 10%, just in case you guys decided to do whatever. So now, I mean, we're gonna have to go back and change all of those numbers, because like you guys aren't making decisions on, you know, like a cost of living or anything like that.
Until we
So
vote on it.
as of right now, it's not gonna reflect that. It's,
Okay.
I mean, so certain things, you know, you guys can discuss at September 1st meeting. And I don't know if the council's supposed to vote that night. Can they vote, like, to put something back in that night
In
though?
September, we don't.
Or is
They
that
can make
done in
their, I mean,
October?
you open it up, they can.
That's my question,
It's
because
not
I don't know
budget
how that
until we vote
works.
for it.
I think the changes are made when you vote in October. That's when all the changes will
That's
go
right,
into
too.
effect.
It's not a
Okay.
budget until we vote that it's a budget.
Yes, you guys can make those changes at the October meeting, but then again, some of these decisions you haven't made,
right.
Still have time.
We still make it.
you're,
Okay.
you're putting a lot of pressure on people to get them in.
I understand. All right, so 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 I understand, we don't need to advertise because we've already advertised. We have until the October meeting to finish.
I would say by the end of September, it would be nice for me and Morgan to
I
have
agree.
firm
I agree.
numbers
No, I
to-
agree.
to give us as much
Because it's
time as
the next
possible.
I'm just trying to sort it in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Because
right.
I still have to make a council packet on top of your budget stuff, so for me to.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna recommend. You are gone until after Labor Day. The 8th is our September meeting.
But you don't need me.
We always need you.
No,
Not necessarily. I
No.
mean, you guys are supposed to be making the decision.
yeah,
Based off of Samantha's recommendations.
and I think I've fully equipped you with.
Well,
all
either
your-
way, the 7th is Labor Day anyway, so it's not like we're gonna meet that day. Do you all wanna shoot for the 14th?
Fine.
How about you guys, 14th?
We'll have to check with Tammy to make sure that the room's available.
All right,
Or
so,
we can meet at the other,
Well, it doesn't matter. We have to check.
a
what
room
rooms.
is
Okay.
available.
Are you wanting morning?
so what if we were to, yeah, probably 10 a.m. or 9 a.m., whatever, doesn't really matter.
And if it's not, then it'll be afternoon.
Yeah,
When
and afternoon's fine too.
available.
Yeah, whatever's available. All right. And then, do we also want to shoot for the 16th? That way,
Yes.
that'll be we'll talk on the 14th, which is a Monday, on the 16th, 2 days later. That's giving us time to go home, do a little research, come back, reconvene, and hopefully take some final votes. Do you think we need more than 2 more days, or do you think we're good?
We think,
Anybody?
we schedule it, if we don't need it, we won't use it.
I'm actually off on that week, but I'll change my vacation.
No.
No,
No, you don't
I'm
need to
not
do that.
doing that. This is too important.
No.
No, if you're gone, we'll just have a party.
Well, first off, can Morgan run it without you?
Absolutely.
Why don't,
All
just
right,
go on
then.
vacation. Seriously, it's not a big
I'll
deal.
be here.
Then we'll switch it.
Well, that'll run the party.
don't
if
switch
you're
it.
here.
We literally have that very next,
Time is of essence.
so I don't
So,
disagree, but
yeah,
we have
we-
that
we
very
need-
next week, we could do the exact same thing,
No,
Monday,
let's go ahead and do
Wednesday.
it for what you did. I'd rather do it earlier than later. Yeah, I can, it's-
Whatever you decide, we're going to, that's when we're going to do it, and you'd be welcome to be gone.
I was just gonna be doing yard work anyway,
Because
so.
we're going, well, I don't blame you for canceling that.
So I have that we still need to, you need to make your decisions on the lit funds, what can be paid out of it. Because like EMA was gonna be moved to lit public safety, you know, is it gonna be able to sustain that, you know, for this next year?
What all do we have for or for lit funds? EMA,
Well, that's lit public safety, yes. But that's something else that got put in there
Mhm.
for the, you know, your tower payment's too late to get them for anything. That's gonna have to be additional appropriation next year.
Okay.
Because it wasn't advertised anywhere, because we didn't have answers.
Would you guys be kind enough to make us up a list of what we have to get in there? That would be really good, so we won't get brain dead.
Your grade changes in positions,
okay?
and I think that's all. Do
Oh,
you have
that's
anything
no
else,
big deal, that's
Morgan?
okay, okay,
I think those are the main things that still need to be addressed.
okay. We got this, we can do this.
All right. So the 14th and the 16th, you guys let us know what times and if those dates are available, and if so, we'll put them on our calendars.
Now, would you like me, the stuff that I handed out to you and I give Brad today, about the lit funds that I did at the first of the year and sent out, telling you what's paid out of each fund and the estimated, where we would be at the end of the year if nothing else was
Balances
done?
and
Would you
so
like me to
forth.
send that to all of the council members so they have that in their back pocket to look at?
Be pretty good.
Hey,
In
one other thing
advance?
I would like to look at again, if somebody will put it in their notes. I personally would like to revisit the stipends for the group homes. So especially if we're gonna end up doing a raise.
Okay, have we got what we need accomplished? The Vigo County Budget Committee will stand in recess until further notice.
Thank you.
Did I not?